Yo, peace, y'all. You know who it is. It's your boy, the Anarchist. I'm here with my boy, Invisiblekatana.
Hello.
Just us two today, but we about to rock. Y'all know how we do. Just chopping it up, man. Let's get back on the movies. One of my favorite things. Speaking of movies, man, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, The Anarchist. That's if you like movie reviews. If you're just a person who into reviews in general and just cool, dope shit as far as gaming and all that stuff, subscribe to Invisiblekatana on YouTube. You're gonna get some dope ass shit. But back to the point. Movies. Specifically Netflix movies, because I'm only reviewing Netflix movies. Not to say just only, but like if it's like big Hollywood movies, I'll review that. Star Wars coming soon, about to be dope. But yeah, man, as far as Netflix though, everybody got it. We all know about Netflix and chill. We know that's a code word for fucking. We know that. But some people actually do be watching movies though, but they still be fucking though. But they on Netflix, that's the point. And so being that everybody has it, it's one of those platforms that came out, blew the fuck up, and it's not going nowhere, at least right now. So what are some things, man, I'm gonna get into, because I actually just got it, Netflix. I mean, I could, I've been kind of had it, but I just kind of got serious about it. Like, let me go ahead and just start watching this shit.
Got your own password, your account, not somebody else.
Oh no, definitely it's not mine. Okay. Maybe I mean this. I'm back on. You see what I'm saying? The last thing was like, man, and I was like, man, cool. So yeah, now I'm back on it. You feel me? Okay. And so I get to spread my time between YouTube, Netflix. You feel me? So, but what's some things, man? As far as you got a lot of TV shows, movies on there, documentaries. What would you recommend, man? Just based on your taste. Maybe you should kind of like put out your taste first and like what you watch, but then and based on what you like, if you think other people like it, what do you think is recommendable on Netflix?
All right, so something that I recently found, and I let you and Mr. Fantastic know about this. I want to say it was like a few weeks back. It's a newer like documentary sort of thing, and it's called The Toys That Made Us. And so it's an 8-part documentary. They put out the first 4, so I assume the next 4 are coming at some point soon. But it's basically this documentary that chronicles like some of the most famous toys that have like ever been sold, and it's like how they kind of rose in popularity, like how Star Wars coming out and Star Wars toys. Like, all right, well, we got Star Wars is huge, and then it's like it goes from Star Wars like, man, this is amazing, we got this, we introduced a new type of toy, and then the prequels came out and it was like, oh, Jar Jar Binks, and they didn't know what to do. So it talks about stuff like that. They talk about Barbie. There was some weird stuff going on with Barbie where it was like they had like Barbie spies. Like I had somebody going to you ever heard of Gem and the Holograms? It's like this old TV show. It's an animated show. And so Gem and the Holograms was like this old animated show. A lot of people listening might know, especially if you're listening on my YouTube channel, you probably know. It's a nerdy thing.
You listen on my channel, you're like, what the fuck is he talking about?
Gem and Holograms. But it was like this pop star. She had like a secret identity. It was like this weird thing. It was like a Hannah Montana thing, but animated. Okay. So the secret thing that they had with Barbie was like, oh, it's like this rock pop star coming out. We don't have that for Barbie yet. And they had somebody who worked and spied on them coming out with the Gem and the Holograms doll. It was like, let's do that first. And they came out like a month before Gem and the Holograms, and everybody thought that Gem and the Holograms copied Barbie. Like, it was like some spy type. So I was like, damn, this is some Barbie stuff. Yes. And the woman that was saying, she was this older woman too. She was like, everybody thought they copied us, and she was like, it was pretty great. And she was like laughing, like, man, she like ruined the company almost. I mean, they had a TV show that was still really famous, but as far as like the toys, and it was like everybody thought they copied us, and it was like a month. She was like, we found out what they were doing. We rushed production like a month ahead before they came out.
And they shit could have popped off, because not only do you have a popular show, but then a toy to back it. Yeah, they probably could have been bigger than Barbie.
And I think it was before the show came out too, so it probably had affected that a little bit, but it was like, man, that was actually kind of intense. Like they had like some Barbie spy stuff going on.
After they put out the Barbie dolls, that spawned like shows and movies. Like my niece has a Barbie movie right now. You know what I'm saying?
So it was interesting, and they had the 4 that are out so far: Star Wars, Barbie, G.I. Joe, and I legitimately can't even remember what the heck the other one was. Like, which is super weird, but I don't even remember what it is at all. Like if you can think of any like famous.
Cause that's you basically named the ones I already thought of: G.I. Joe, Barbie.
Because they didn't do Transformers, because that's the one I was hoping they would do in the first thing. So I'm hoping that it was He-Man. He-Man was the one that they had, because I didn't even know this. He-Man was made before the cartoon. I never knew that. I always thought He-Man the cartoon came out before the toys. They made the toys before the cartoon. and they were just making, that was super funny too. It was like they were trying to sell this toy. It was like, oh, you didn't know? We got a comic book that's coming out, and it was like they were just making this crap up on the fly. And it was like, well, what's, you know, kids are not good, like these are for 5-year-old kids that are not reading the comic book. We didn't tell you we had a TV show coming out. Like they were just making up crap and spending money, and it worked. Masters of the Universe, it was He-Man, so that joke was funny. But
that, you didn't know?
Yeah, like, you didn't know we had that. It was like, where'd you come up with that? I just came up with it. Like we need to sell this toy, so we got to do this.
Dang, the toy industry
so
savage.
It was some interesting stuff. So the toys that made us, they have like an 80s G.I. Joe opening too. It's really funny. It's like the G.I. Joe theme, but that's a pretty good one. Of course, I watch anime, so there's like Netflix original anime on there that's really good.
I don't want to get too much off the subject because we definitely be recommending and not recommending some shit on Netflix. But as far as, I want to get your take real quick on like, what do you think about as far as Netflix kind of opening up for directors? Because one thing I noticed, you touched on this point before a few shows back, when you said, I had asked you about them doing a lot of black movies now. You said, well, it's a lot of black artists that's in the game. So it's like, but what do you think about, I feel like one of the reasons why it's like that, especially here, is that the market's so open up. It's not just Hollywood, it's Netflix. So like you can get, because Netflix, it's not like a cabal like it's with Hollywood. You're going to use the same director, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like the famous names don't really mean as much. It's just like whoever.
Yeah, who can do whoever come to us either with a good idea or already with a good movie. You know, we just throw some money at you. They doing different things with Dave Chappelle and comedians.
Yeah, they're doing.
Monique not getting in on it.
Yeah, that was one of the things we could have talked about. That was one of the things I forgot. As far as pop, current events and stuff like that.
Monique crying ass. I love Reese.
Her and Tyrese.
Me. We got two different clips. Doing it to me, my baby. But anyway. Yeah, man, they got the comedian. They throwing money at comedians. I hear different directors getting slots for original stuff. Like they just throwing out money for content because they know it's like if we need content. So it's like now you can look at any niche. Like you can look at action or you can look at anime. And you say, okay, you can say you as a fan. I've known for a fact that there's been really, really good anime directors. But now, what do you say where those directors can go out and make as many movies as they can, especially if it's going to be a good movie and Netflix gives them money and you know it does well, blah blah blah. Like, what's your whole take on that? Like, I feel like that can open the market up a bit, especially if more Netflix type streaming services come out, because it's just like I think filmmakers back when I was growing up was like you have to either go to Hollywood, you know, or you have to go to New York. Yeah. But now it's I can make a movie for Netflix. You know.
With that, I think it opens up because like you mentioned kind of the anime thing. It'll be interesting to see how far it goes, because right now it's like it's mostly shows, but like recently they did just release a Godzilla movie, and it's like a 3D animated movie. So it's like, okay, that's interesting. It is specifically a movie. They've done that before with a movie called Blame, and it's based on a property because the same creator of that movie, or like the original manga series, he had another show that they already made. So it was like they already kind of had it in with him series wise, so they kind of did the movie thing, and it was like, okay, it'll be interesting to see how far this goes. Like, will they just start pumping out original anime movies? Because right now it's mostly TV shows, because that's kind of where most of the anime market is of course series shows. But it would be interesting to see if that starts to change, where they started putting movies out. Obviously the Netflix original series I think that's the more kind of normal stuff, and even some of their movies, it's like, okay, you have big budget movie, most of them so far are kind of like meh in the middle. You talked about the couple that you hate. The really big one was of course Bright recently, and how that was like big budget, everyone was excited, then it didn't really work. But have
you seen because I'm just gonna throw out a few other big ones. It's one called Open Sea.
Open Water, I've heard of it.
48 something.
I got like a bunch of stuff. Oh, my bad. Open Water,
or something, 47 something.
47 meters down?
It's 47 meters down.
I've seen that.
And Open House, I think either maybe the other one or something like that.
47 meters down is not a Netflix original, but that was the interesting story about that. That is a movie that went straight to DVD, and there was some other movie that came out that was like shark based or whatever, and that's why that movie came out in theaters. Because when it came out in theaters, it was already like a year old. And I didn't know that, and because I saw that in the movies, because I was like, that actually seems interesting. It was a fairly decent movie, but it was one of those straight to DVD movies. And then it was like, all right, well, this some other shark movie I don't even know. And then it was like, well, let's see how this works, in theaters. And that's why I got a theater release, because it was Mandy Moore, and I can't remember the actress's name, but I knew her from a TV show that I watched on CW called The Originals. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Like, she's in, a big budget movie. And I was like, oh, it was a straight to DVD movie. Because it was cool, because, you see somebody else in the TV show, and you're like, I want to support, like, that's cool. They went from movies to, from TV to movies. Right. And technically, I mean, it still got shown in the theater, so she was still in the theater.
If it's a big movie, even if it's not that, highly regarded, if it's something that comes out and does well, people gonna look at you still. It don't have to be necessarily the big movie from the jump.
Yeah, but I and I thought it was interesting. It was one of those things where it was like, oh, okay, so 47 Meters Down was this movie that was initially direct to DVD, and it even had a different name. They changed the name because it was something else. I forgot what it was called though. I thought that was interesting when I found that out, and that kind of is one of those weird things with Netflix where you can have that element of it could be high budget like Bright, which was like a movie, which was millions of dollars made by two people that have made huge movies, that have come out by Hollywood. And then you could have something like 47 Meters Down where it's like a Netflix original, and it's just like, all right, you got some, people who are at least known in some regard, whether it's TV or they aren't as famous as they used to be.
But you say 47 Meters Down wasn't a Netflix original, right?
No, it was not.
Right.
It was not. But it's just like, just in general, that sort of movie where it's like, this is like a straight to DVD thing. Yeah. Now it's straight to Netflix.
And this is what I'm noticing too, and I want to get your take on it, and we'll get back to recommending and not recommending movies. But as far as like, I really do like the platform of Netflix, which is, I feel bad that Monique want to shit on them, but sorry, Monique. Look, get your fucking clout game up if you want Dave Chappelle numbers. People ain't gonna fucking give you money just because you got a fucking Oscar, bitch. I do like Netflix as far as like, because back then, before Netflix, you had A-list movies, and you had B, and it goes even down to the D-list, and even further than that. But the funny thing about that is, me and you can think of probably, if we just sat down and thought about it, a lot of movies that probably would consider B-list. We talked about Last Dragon. What was it?
Yeah, The Last Dragon.
The Last Dragon, which would probably be considered a B movie, but was a really, really good movie. So I feel like Netflix is now an avenue where, even if it's not high budget, Hollywood, big budget, if somebody got together and made, let's say, the new Blair Witch, and it just ended up being a really, really good, that could be on a platform just as big as Hollywood. So you'll take on that, like, because me and you could do something, like anybody can do something like that. Like, how does that change the game? Where do you see stuff? Where do you see like the industry, the movie industry or the content video industry going
with opportunities like that? I think it'll lead to, and you kind of touched on it a little bit, like with other services coming out. It's one of those things where I wonder what will happen in the future if Netflix will go more towards original content, because you have like
I think they are.
Disney is coming out with their thing, so it's like all that Disney stuff is going to be off of Netflix.
Isn't Moana a Disney?
Yeah. So like when that Disney stuff comes out, like Guardians of the Galaxy, Marvel, all that stuff, Star Wars, none of that stuff. Well, I would assume at least because it's Disney owned now. Star Wars isn't going to be on Netflix. Rogue One is going to be off of there. Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is going to be off of there. All the other Disney movies, all that stuff will be gone. So Netflix will be like, all right, well, we still have our original stuff. They're huge. I'd say Netflix right now, to me at least, is the best market for international stuff. I've seen so many martial arts movies because of Netflix that I love, like stuff that you just never find.
Stuff from everywhere. It's not like they just, because Hollywood is just like whatever they pick the theme of this year, that's the type of movies you're gonna get. If it's an Armageddon type thing, then you're gonna get Deep Impact and all this other bullshit, because they just set the agenda. But Netflix is like, fuck it, y'all got the movies, fuck it.
And the thing with Hollywood is it's movies made in the United States. You're not gonna have Bollywood movies here. You can see them. There are theaters that'll play a Bollywood movie every once in a while. I remember calling Movie Phone, and it'll be like, I'm trying to go to the dollar theater, and it's like, this movie, and it's like Ajit Kapoor, and I'm like, oh, okay, interesting. All right. So, it'll play here at random, but that sort of experience is not wide. Like Netflix has that kind of unlock. I'm sure Hulu has some stuff, and as well as Amazon. Those are like really the big three services right now, and they all have their own thing. All three of them have different anime and stuff like that.
Hulu's coming up. Hey, I want to ask you this though. What do you think would happen? Because I think probably the biggest thing this year with Netflix was Bright, like you said. That was like the huge thing. Will Smith, that just being such a huge movie that they made, gave the money to make.
It was like the big thing for last year, and then the beginning of this year was like the aftermath of that. Yeah.
What do you think would happen? Just think. What do you think would happen if somebody came along and, because right now I feel like Netflix is a direct competition to Hollywood, because people have to choose. Do I want to go to the movies or do I want to sit here and Netflix I'm already paying for? The thing with Netflix is they usually have motherfuckers already on it. Like, I'm already paying for this shit.
Yeah.
Don't want to go and pay Hollywood too. So it's like they already kind of creeped up and got people in their back pocket. What do you think would happen if Netflix financed somebody that made a film that was like a Star Wars or like a Jaws, where it's like the shit was huge,
the blockbuster.
Yeah,
event.
like, cause I don't think that hasn't happened yet. Like, Bright can be a big movie or whatever can be a big movie. I'm talking about
the biggest
critically acclaimed and huge.
Yeah, because so far the biggest thing I would say Netflix has is their shows.
Okay.
More than anything.
More
so
than
it's
movies.
like, like people are like, oh, this show, they'll always be like, oh, this show is great, this and this. And Hulu's doing really good with that right now too. They got like The Handmaid's Tale got like, it was either nominations or they actually won some Oscars. But they're doing that too. But that would be really interesting to see what would happen if they had like a Netflix original that was just like the blockbuster event of the year, like the surprise hit where it was like, people were expecting it. If it was Bright, but the excitement matched the actual
the hype,
the actual concept or the work, the production.
Right.
That would be really interesting because it was Bright, as itself was huge because it was like either average or people hated it just because of the fact that everybody was like, man, that's a cool concept, I want to see it. So it was huge just for that. So if it was actually great, it would be interesting to see what they would do with that. I don't think much would really change. I feel like it would have to happen more than one time. And especially with Netflix being what it is, it would be hard to judge how it would impact things because if it came out early enough to be like, how movies are where it's like if it comes out between this time frame and that time frame, then you can be nominated for an Oscar or whatever, however that works, because I still don't really know officially. But if it came out at the right time and it was that big, I think that would be a huge deal because I do think some of the Netflix shows have had nominations, if not awards. So if they had that with a movie and it was just huge, it would be interesting to see. I don't think it would have, like I said, that huge impact right off the top. It would just be like, oh, this is the first time it's truly blown up like this. Right. They've had those hits where the shows are super popular and it's like, oh, people want this show and that. But if they hit it with a movie, and it would have to have multiple movies come out to really make a difference, I think. But I think it would definitely pique some interest, like, oh, it's time to change.
I would say I think that would, even just one movie, I think it would change the motherfucking game. Because I'm going to tell you like this. The reason why the first movie would change the game is, imagine if a movie came out today on Netflix that was equivalent to a Star Wars.
Well, first off, because I guess I would have taken it to that.
Yeah. It's gonna be 7 sequels of that bitch off the bat. So it's the next movies are gonna do it. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? It's just gonna get bigger and bigger. As soon as one come out, they already gonna be working on two.
And they're doing that with Bright, and that didn't work.
They doing that with Bright too.
Yeah, I said that before. Yeah, I think that was before it even came out.
This time they're gonna be picking on the Latinos. Yeah,
they already did that too.
Theirs this time. Not just
But I don't know. It'll be interesting because oh man,
I think it might. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say because I was talking about like Disney coming out with their thing, taking stuff away. I forgot DC is coming out with one. They're coming out with their own streaming service. So I mean, DC already took all their stuff off anyway because DC used to have like all their shows, or not all their shows. DC used to have like all the animated movies. Like when I first got Netflix, like we were talking about, I think the last episode, like that free trial. That first month, I did nothing for school because I was in our library watching All-Star Superman, Batman and Superman, Most Wanted, Justice League Unlimited. I was watching every freaking DC movie. Y'all can't see that anarchist, but I almost made him choke on his juice.
When you first got Netflix, first you got a hard on. You was like, where was you my whole fucking life? You said, fuck school.
I was in that.
You said, fuck college. This guy.
I was in the Mardigian library watching every freaking DC animated movie. That's hilarious. It was so many on there though. I was like, all the DC animated movies was on there. I was like, I'm just like, All-Star Superman, Batman, Superman.
You just skipping in the day.
I'm just
today's
like, man,
gonna be
every
Batman.
single it was just a whole. It was like 20 freaking DC animated movies on that thing.
I think I caught you skipping
And
home
it
one
was
of them
like-
days, bro. That was probably the Netflix era. You was skipping home that day. I don't think you remember
It
that.
was-
You don't
I
remember
mean, that junk used to. It was just huge on there, but.
Now they taking out. They about to get their own shit. See, now
Yeah.
that's what I'm talking about. You got streaming services. It's not just gonna be Netflix no more. Like any one of these different. I think Apple might try to come up with some stuff.
They already have,
Yeah.
or is it Apple or was it iTunes? Or I guess it's
the same
kinda,
thing,
yeah,
yeah.
same thing because they
I
have.
know
the,
they got streaming, but I think they're really trying to get into like different content besides music. They probably could get into.
Because they have the only show that I know they have is the James Corden thing, the carpool karaoke. And I don't know how popular that's gotten. I haven't really looked into it because I couldn't care less. But I know that was a big thing because obviously carpool karaoke was huge on YouTube. So it's like, all right, well, let's take that and make it its own show. And it's not just him. It's like they'll have, musicians with other musicians doing that sort of thing. So, I know that's a big deal. I know people love that, so they made it its own show. So I know they're already starting to put out, like, let's see what we can do here. Even Facebook is trying to do stuff with shows and things like that.
Man.
So everybody
getting into this.
yeah,
like
trying to
people
touch on
realizing,
it.
and that's why I bring it up to cut our recommendation short, which we're gonna get back to. But I brought it up just because it's like, man, the way things is going, like, maybe this podcast, like, just get, y'all should get into video. Like, I just feel like video today. This is another hot take. Y'all motherfuckers should be quoting me. Somebody write this down at home. If you listen to this, get your pen and paper out. Write this shit down. And put the quotes and put my name, motherfucker, there like this. Don't try to take it, but today people thieving motherfuckers. But anyway.
trademark anarchist.
Right, put my name next to that bitch so they know it's my quote. Nobody just look at your
trademark.
Nobody just look at your notebook and think you came up with this shit. But now I feel like today video and like filmmaking, let's just call it filmmaking, is equivalent to like books back in the day before like all the new media. It's like if you were somebody who was noticeable, if you was a doctor or whatever, they knew you by what you wrote, your prose or whatever. So I think that's what it is today, where it's like if you were any sort of intellectual back in the day or anybody famous, people looked at what you wrote. They look at Hitler's diaries, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just because he was popular. So whatever he wrote down, he didn't really write books, he just wrote shit. So it's just like now I feel like that's what video is. You could be a videographer that shoots movies. You can just go to documentaries. You could be the animation type of person. You can just be a vlogger. I respect some of those filmmakers even more than actual filmmakers because they got to come up with creative content every single day. They got to create a story and a narrative every single day. They got to come up with technical ways to, keep you engaged and edit and entertain you every day. A filmmaker does that every once in a while.
Yeah.
So I feel like if shit blow up, if Apple get his own shit, Apple is huge. Google already got YouTube, they fucking that up, but just all these different stuff that open up as far as just streaming, like, and it's all, and this stuff might be niche too. Like you might get a few more movies and TV things like Netflix. You may get like a few more podcast things, because podcasts are getting real huge.
Yeah.
And just all types of stuff, so I feel like, people should kind of jump on it, like, get a fucking camera, like, because sometimes being a YouTuber, you feel like, because I'm always watching YouTube stuff and stuff about YouTube, I feel like everybody YouTubes, either everybody knows about it, which everybody does, or everybody does it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it'll feel, we talked about this with music, everybody can do it, or everybody can get it, that sort of thing, and it will feel like an oversaturated market. It'll feel like, because one of the biggest things is everybody's doing this thing where everybody is in this specific sort of style, and because I'm pretty sure, we've talked about it off the podcast, but like Casey Neistat is a good example. Like stuff that he always says is like, do it better. Either, like a big thing that people always say is either do something nobody's doing or just do that junk better. Do it. Like if it's you, then if that's all you got, then find a way to do it better, or at least in your unique way. It doesn't necessarily have to be better, but find a way to do it in your unique fashion, your unique style. That's what you just got to do. And I think, going back to Netflix with that, that's almost what Netflix gives people, because we talked about with Bright and other movies, they kind of give people just free reign. It is that, depending on who it is, they'll give more money, but it is that Hollywood mentality without the Hollywood constrictions. So you have that idea, which sometimes it can work, sometimes it'll be, stepsisters or
like
Bright.
a babysitter, where it's like they tried.
Too much.
Even
freedom.
Bright. Like I said, maybe we can kind of chalk that up to just Netflix being new. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like Netflix is might be one of those platforms where it's like, damn, We did not know this shit was gonna turn into. Cause think about it, everybody has Netflix. Yeah. So everybody has this paying that $10.
Gave up on Netflix, and Blockbuster's dead now.
You see
they could have had Netflix for, I think it was obviously something cheap compared to what it would cost for somebody else to buy it now, but it was like, that ain't gonna work, and Blockbuster is gone.
I feel like they blew up in such a quick time that now it's just like they kind of like racing, where it's like, damn, they throwing out money for content, because it's like, we got to keep the platform going. We don't want to lose momentum and people just throwing, Netflix is trash now, let's move on to, you know what I'm saying, and then Hulu becoming whoever next up in line. So they just like throwing money. We need content, comedians, get over here. Documentarians, get over, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like because they're doing that, they don't really have enough time to curate and just be like, I don't feel like they feel established enough like a Hollywood to be like, we're not going to put out, we're not going to put out that movie. They just like, shit.
Here you go.
Somebody gonna like that motherfucker.
Yeah.
They swinging movies.
Swinging a miss. Well, we make $8 billion a second.
Exactly.
I think that's kind of a good point. I mean, they have, like I said, that constriction, less constriction, more freedom, more creativity. Lesser artists, can just come up and be like, I have this idea. It really seems cool. Will you give me a shot to do it and just put it out there? Because you guys will make it back probably by the end of the year with however many people paying however much a month, that sort of thing anyway. So with the way they do it, although apparently I don't know if this is still the case, but them being like bankrupt or whatever, because they be giving so much money out compared to what
I believe that they probably are a loss leader, just like right now YouTube is a loss leader. YouTube, I don't think Google makes money off you, or I think an article came out saying Google recently started breaking even or making money with YouTube. But it's a loss leader. It's like huge companies know, like, if I have a platform that a lot of people are on, but it's not necessarily like making a whole bunch, but a lot of people are on it, keep that motherfucker. That's how you
eventually you break even, and then over time, it's an investment.
Yeah.
That's what an investment is. You spend it now, eventually you get to the point where you broke even, then it's like, all right, now we can start officially making money. And of course with YouTube, who knows how that'll play out with how things have gone in the past couple of years, the apocalypse, and now the whole thing with you gotta have a certain amount of views, and people are freaking out like they can't be monetized anymore. And that recent
it's
thing,
like 10,000 subscribers, like, what is it?
Yeah, it's like 10,000
views or something, or hours watched.
Hours watched, yeah, something like that. 10,000 hours watched.
Subscribers, like 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah, up to a certain point. So, with things like that, it's changing continuously. And obviously, YouTube is different. I don't consider YouTube like a streaming service.
I do, yeah.
And see, and I don't. And I guess it's because of how it is with literally anyone can do it. And I guess I don't consider that because you don't have to pay for it. I don't consider it streaming service unless you have to actually pay for it.
Right.
And mostly, it's not like, here's this company making this show or movie. It's just whoever. Right. Of course, companies are on YouTube naturally.
Exactly. But I feel like that's the best part about it, because it's the example of like the Wild Wild West sort of version of a streaming service, where it's not like we gotta sanction everybody on here. It's like, fuck, you on here. You know what I'm saying? So if your shit the most popular, then you gonna be the YouTuber we endorse. You know what I'm saying? If you getting the views, then, which I feel like I feel like YouTube is in trouble right now, because shit, let Amazon, which I'm pretty sure Amazon is doing something, but let Amazon come and take that thing and do it right. You
with
see what I'm saying?
Free sort of style, you mean? Like everybody come and do it.
Streaming service, that shit, just get you a login page and upload your content, and even if they figured out how to do the whole, shared ads thing, and even if they do it better, people gonna get the fuck off YouTube and flock right. You ain't gonna see nothing but just the same motherfuckers on YouTube, just on Amazon now.
Yeah,
any big YouTuber's gonna be like, oh, you can do videos and it's the same thing, and you make the same money around it. Boom, videos on here now. You know what I'm saying? And YouTube gonna be like, no, wait, no, come back, please. We love you. But yeah,
money.
Money. What do you want? YouTube, what do you want from me? But yeah, man, I think that's possible. But what about some movies that you just want people to stay clear of on Netflix, man? Just run away, get away from it. Not even just movies, TV shows, whatever. Get the fuck away from it. Don't do it. Like, you just save yourself the time.
Well, we talked about it at the end of the first one we did tonight. I didn't really have anything as far as just stay away. I mean, you can reference your couple again, because we spent a minute, 2 episodes back, everybody, if you haven't listened to that one.
Yeah.
Then I guess was mentioning two movies that just weren't doing the trick.
Yeah. shit. All right, first off, it's like I said, Stepsisters, I'm going hard. Nobody go see that shit, man. That shit will program you and have you think of some other shit. I thoroughly hated that movie. I thoroughly hated that one. I wanted to shout out the black man that wrote that movie and directed that movie. That's a black written and directed movie. I want to slap both them Negroes for making that bullshit. That movie they should change the name from Stepsisters to All Lives Motherfucking Matter. That's really what that movie should be called. Real shit. And like I said, I'm inclusive too, but fuck that movie. So yeah, Stepsisters is a terrible fucking movie. Oh, The Babysitter.
Well, what would you? Okay, because we touched on that. So, what would you recommend?
What would I recommend?
Yeah.
Well, keep in mind, like I said, I'm just kind of just getting on this shit. But I've seen movies that's on there that I've seen before.
I mean, it doesn't have to be Netflix original. Like, if there's just something you can think of, because I got like a bunch of Japanese movies I'm thinking of that I think are just really freaking sweet that I've only ever seen because of Netflix.
You know what's a really good movie on there? I recommend it to my girl, but I don't think she's smart enough to really get this movie.
You're not saying you should be saying stuff like that on the podcast.
No, I've been told her ass that. Okay. Because I thought it was a great movie, but she just walked out of it confused, which I can see people get confused at it. So I'm not really going to take a shot at her intellect, but maybe you do, because I just thought everybody could like this movie. Well, people don't. I'm just going to assume they stupid.
Okay.
But Memento.
Okay.
That's on there. Chris Nolan's film. That's a good movie. Training Day is on there. That's a really good movie.
Made by the creator of Bright.
Really?
Yeah, that was the same dude. Was it the director?
That would make a lot of sense.
I think it was
the director of Training Day. You gotta check it out.
I believe so. I can't
check it
remember
out.
exactly.
Those movies now that you mentioned that do look sick. Like, I ain't even seen it, but I seen the trailer. But I'm like, when I see it, it's the same little concept. It's the exact same.
Training Day with orcs. But yeah.
My orc. It's like no. But
which wouldn't even work, but that would be funny though.
Right. You know that's what it was. Get your orc ass on the ground. Like he just called me an orc, bro. Them orcs over there don't want that shit. It's like nah. Let me see. Movies that y'all don't want to see. Like I said, The Babysitter is fucked up. Oh no, I was going movies that I would recommend. Like I said, Sing is actually a pretty good movie.
Okay.
Have you seen Sing?
No, but that's the animated Illumination movie, right?
Yeah, about the animals. That shit was good. I seen it with my niece.
Okay. I would recommend 13 Assassins. That is a sweet freaking martial arts movie. It's a Japanese movie.
Oh, I gotta watch that.
That junk is so freaking
Hey, have you ever
sweet.
seen the movie, not to cut you off or go off topic, but how much time we got, shit?
We're like halfway through. We got 32 minutes.
Alright, I wanted to ask you about, have you ever seen a movie called The Raid?
Yeah, The Raid is freaking sweet.
Ooh.
I got my dad both the movies on Blu-ray. If you haven't seen The Raid, you missing action.
Hell yeah, I'm like, woo.
The Raid Redemption is
That's not
freaking
Netflix, is
insane. I don't think it is.
Yeah,
because I was looking for it at one point. I don't think it's on there, but if you have not seen The Raid Redemption, you're missing out.
Let me tell you, I seen that movie. I went into that movie not knowing shit about it. After I was like, shit. I was crying like, finally.
Actually, yeah.
No, my shit was like snot everywhere. Like, bravo.
It is a straight action movie. It's basically a video game movie done right. It started at the bottom. They got locked in the building. Bunch of SWAT team members just fighting a bunch of criminals. Crazy action whole way through. Just bottom top, killing people, flipping, kicking, machetes, all sorts of crazy martial arts.
I'm getting hard just thinking.
It's a sweet freaking movie though. Like both of them are. They're both pretty sweet. But yeah, The Raid Redemption is awesome.
Just great camera work mixed with great choreography, great action. That's just a really good movie.
It's just straight up insane and really sweet. 13 Assassins is kind of like that towards the end. It has a story behind it, but it's because I think I mentioned it before, but it's like the more modern version of Seven Samurai. Okay. So it's like this crazy, I think it's this king's son is like they're both like the king is a tyrant, his son is an a-hole too. And it was like, all right, they're going through this location, they're basically like wiping out villages and just taking over crap. So we need a bunch of like well-trained warriors, 13 assassins, and they basically like when it gets to the end of this movie, it is absolute pandemonium. It's 13 dudes against an actual army. It is ridiculous. Like
13 people against
13 guys against like this like small army just goes into a village. Like it's like them setting up traps, them fighting people. Like this dude does like like different people have different skills where they use different weapons. So this dude will be like the old samurai. This dude will dual wield blades. This dude will just fight. It's just crazy. It was just absolutely. It's just insane at the end. Like
I think I probably passed that. Like, man, that looks
13
interesting.
Assassins is sweet. So if you haven't seen, if you like Seven Samurai, if you've ever seen that, or Magnificent Seven, because Magnificent Seven is like the U.S. version of Seven Samurai. But if you've seen either of those and you've enjoyed them, 13 Assassins, I would say, is the modern version of that. Like, that's as close as we've gotten to like a modern Seven Samurai, not counting the actual Magnificent Seven movie.
Okay, give me a scary movie, because I already trashed The Babysitter. That's supposed to be a comedy horror, but give me a horror film on there that people can actually watch and enjoy. Besides, was 47 Meters Down horror? But besides that one, I think you're right.
That's like a horror, shark movie.
Yeah,
so
it's
sort
gonna
of
be
suspense
kinda
more
scary.
than
Gotcha.
those moments.
But straight horror or just elements or whatever.
I legitimately have no clue. Like, I tend not to like search certain
Based
stuff.
on genre?
Like, based on genre. Like, the only ones I search are typically martial arts movies. Like, I've never really like searched for, mostly because, admittedly, if you go on Netflix and you just search a genre, you'll be finding like I have searched that before. You'll be seeing the stupidest titles, and I'm like, I don't even want to give this a shot. It just be like, you can see the cover, and it's like, no, I'm not willing to give that a shot. I will say, don't watch Rosemary's Baby. I watched that on Netflix with my ex and her sister, and it was like, it's this classic horror movie. It's Rosemary's Baby.
Like
that
Rosemary's
movie
Baby?
bored the F out of me, man. It was old school horror, so it was like 60s horror, where it was like this. Today it would be like, it was like a drama suspense movie.
Yeah.
It was not scary in any way, shape, or form, and I was like, it's
Like
kinda
psychological,
horror.
you gotta call them psychological thrillers now. Cause it's like, if you ain't got no blood, then you ain't scaring nobody.
It was just like, man, it was like, there are concepts of it that were cool, but I was like, man, that movie bored the crap out of me. Don't watch The Babadook. I hate that movie.
The Babadook.
That was like, my God, it's the scariest thing in the universe. That made me hate that movie so much. I watched that, I was like, this is boring. The trailer was more entertaining. It was like 2 years ago.
Okay.
The Babadook. Scariest thing ever. I was like, man, this is the dumbest thing I've ever wasted my life on. And I was watching, I was just like, this is not scary. It's a good movie. It has an interesting story that I wasn't focused on because I didn't know. It was just like, scariest movie ever. The trailer was freaky. I was like, I can't wait to watch this. I was so bored. I watched that movie. I was
Catfish.
so freaking annoyed. Yeah, I basically was.
What would you say is, all right, give us an anime to stay away from. If somebody in an anime, they don't want to waste their motherfucking time, stay away from. I just love all the anime.
No, I don't. I don't know if they're actually on Netflix, but there's like a couple. A decent rule for anime is to stay away from anime that ends before the actual manga ended. So basically, like, the anime ends before the comic ends. You'll get some messed up endings. You'll get like just happy ending, we're done, everybody died, or something crazy, like we beat the villain. It was like, how? It was immortal. What happened?
Right.
They skip like 18 chapters, like all sorts of stuff. So that's just a rule with anime in general. You just gotta watch. Just know before going in. Like, there's an anime called Fruits Basket that it's about people that turn into the zodiac animals and stuff. And it's an interesting story. It's like a comedy story. Then it starts to get dark towards the end, and then it's like 12 episodes. We're done. That's it. Series over.
Just
and it's like, there was like, it'll like anime sometimes.
People who take the time to put together the manga, they're not gonna do that to you. So
yeah, like it'll
TV
be like
series
the
is
full, like
following
shows, like that's a big thing with manga. Like something is so popular, you'll be like, how do we make it? Like it'll be, it's like anything. You'll be like, well, let's get the anime out right now, and then the anime will be like, well, we didn't caught up, to the manga super fast because manga comes out, even though it comes out weekly. Typically, it's like 15 pages. So you have typically the rule is this: if you buy like a volume of a manga, like you buy like the full volume set, that's basically one volume is one episode. Or I'm trying to think of
15 pages.
No, not the 15 pages. Like when you get like all of it, like you'll have 10 to 12 chapters will make a full volume. So that's how you'll get your full like 230 pages.
One.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when you get that, it like the rule of thumb is basically like one volume will kind of make up. It's not one volume, one episode. I'm trying to think. It's like 3 to 1. It's something like that. Okay. So it'll basically be like 3 episodes is one full volume. So if you do that, then you have weekly coming out. If it takes 15 chapters and you're doing, basically like a full volume in 3 weeks, it's like, crap. We're catching up. You could do a show like 3 years down the line. The anime will catch up real quick. Like that's just how that's why a lot of anime has fillers where it'll be like, oh man, they just killed this main villain. Oh, we gotta go to this island over here for for 2 seasons. That's why you get
do the challenges on the island. Then we get back to
that's why stuff like that happen. Like characters disappear for full seasons.
You know what?
Stuff.
You know what? That just made me think of Pokemon. Was they doing that with that shit?
Probably.
I'm just like, it was some
the
episode.
Anime for Pokemon isn't even like the manga. Like the manga for Pokemon is actually like really intense. Like they be be dying. Like Pokemon died.
So it just was changing in like.
It was just like the kid-friendly version. But like the best example in the universe, of course, is Naruto.
Okay.
Like that's one of my favorites. But Naruto is known for just fillers beyond fillers. There are seasons.
And don't get me wrong, it's some good. Don't get me wrong.
Of filler in Naruto. I'm not even kidding. Like for both Naruto and Naruto Shippuden, like the second half of the original, there's got to be like 10 full seasons of filler.
I honestly think, man, Naruto got to be one of those things where they had to have went through dozens of writers. Because sometimes when I look at those episodes, I see some of the most profound shit.
That's probably from the actual creator, and then you go to filler, and it's like oh my goodness, there's a ninja ostrich or something crazy. I think they did 2 episodes on that. It's like some ninja animals or something, crazy stuff. Crazy, just be crazy. So I remember just when I was young, I was like, I just got to get through these fillers so I can get to the next series. Because that was when they did the time skip, and he was like the kids were like teenagers. There was like 3 year skip. I was like, all right, I can't skip these episodes. I would be at 3 a.m. just like leaning, just like half falling asleep. Like they're just talking about nothing. He just went from one village to the next village.
Right.
It was 3 episodes. Oh my goodness, the fillers in the original series, every episode was 3 episodes, so like you just knew it was gonna be the beginning, the middle, the end. It was like I just wish it just at least change the structure. Just do 1 episode. It's just one story by itself. Everything was like 3 episodes, and then it's a new story. And I was like, there was one where a kid died, and I was like, at least that had something. There was like a change. I was like, I remember that. But man, there's so many
shit just keep happening day after day. Hey, what was the lead character's name in Pokemon? Ash. Hey, Ash, want to do the same shit we were just doing yesterday? Sure, Misty. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Just be like, just nothingness. Like, I don't understand why. I mean, there's a full season of Naruto Shippuden. I'm telling you, so in the story, the actual manga, right? They're going to the next section for training. So Naruto is like, all right, I'm learning this new skill. I need to go to this person to learn how to train. So we're gonna leave our island. We're gonna take the boat. We're gonna go to this island. That's how I learn to get basically my next new ability. Okay. In the story, we gotta go get on the boat. Boom. Next chapter, we're there. He's training. Freaking sweet. Anime comes along. We gotta do this. You see every day of that boat ride across the ocean to this island. Damn. There were like 20 episodes. There was a filler where he dreamt that his clones fought back because they wouldn't disappear. There was an episode where they met a ghost girl on a boat. There was an episode where they had to go through like this crazy dangerous part of the sea because there was a bunch of whirlpools, and they were like, we have to perfectly maneuver and survive in these caverns and caves. Damn. And there was a bunch of other episodes where they probably fought some pirates, some other useless crap, and it was like, I just gotta watch it.
I ain't gonna lie, they be torturing y'all anime lovers, bro.
It just depends. Sometimes it can be sweet. Sometimes, like Dragon Ball Z has fillers. Like, you know,
it's been a while.
No, but like, you know who Majin Buu is, right? The main character.
Oh yeah.
That all of that is filler. None of that's in the actual manga. So like,
they just made that up
for the show, yeah. So all of that is filler, but it's like, you know, Majin Buu is still pretty sweet. There's still some stuff in there. Majin Vegeta is one of my favorite things. I always thought that was really sweet. Yeah. So it's like sometimes it can be filler and it can make something that's really cool.
I like Frieza. Nobody liked him. I like Frieza.
Frieza was sweet. I mean, Frieza was weird. That was always the weirdest thing. That was like the only time I've ever seen a series where it was like you meet the villain and it was like, this is my perfect, like that was the version of him, and it's like, I'm gonna go backwards though, and I was like, that is the weirdest thing in the universe. Every version looks stupid too. I was like, I wish they had sweeter designs. Every version of Frieza looked dumb until the last one. It was like just a bigger head. He looked like the alien from Aliens and junk. It was like, this just looked dumb. And then it's like, now I'm at my perfect form because I got to keep fighting Goku and stuff. It's like, okay, that's super weird, but that's how villains are though. It's like, I'm so sweet, I'm gonna go backwards. You know, it's like, man, all these backwards designs look dumb. It's all ugly except for that. And then Frieza was also a man, but I'm pretty sure voiced by a woman, if I remember. That was like the big deal back in the day. Yeah. I always thought that was funny because it was like, I always just assumed Frieza was a woman. It was like, no, I'm a guy. And it was like, oh, that's weird. It was voiced by a woman. But that was, but, you know, Dragon Ball Z has fillers. Every big anime, they always have filler, you know, or they just end and it's like, oh, sweet, that just ended. And now I got to read the manga to get the story.
Damn, okay. So, all right, so basically, like the anime to stay away from was, you didn't mention it, but I don't know. You know right but yeah, but basically, you're saying, like,
just be careful. If you watch anime in general, you probably know this. That you mentioned. I want to make sure. Fruits Basket, yeah. But yeah, you just gotta be careful. Like, Soul Eater is like my favorite anime, but that ended long before the manga. So the ending is nothing like the actual story. But man, I love that junk so much. After I watched that anime, that's the only time I've ever read the manga instantly. Like as soon as I finished every single episode, I was like, I'm gonna read this whole story. Damn. And I read it until I caught up, and then I started reading it because it came out monthly. Because that was like one of the sweetest things. I was like, man, the action in that, I think you'd like that. The action in that is
you had to text me that shit later.
Insane. Yeah, the action in Soul Eater is just insanely intense. Like it's super sweet. Like I knew about it because it was so popular, and then I was like, I'm gonna just check this out. And it was on YouTube. Like all the episodes were free on YouTube. And so I watched the first episode. I was like, "That's some really like the animation looks good. The action is intense.
Oh, real quick,
a bunch of, it's actually a horror anime. It's like horror comedy. Like it's like the characters like Frankenstein and stuff. Like
genres. I'm on it. Yeah. I'm on it. Have you seen The Shy?
No.
Okay.
I've heard about that though.
What do you think about it, real quick?
I've only seen the trailer once. All I remember from it was like it had a super sweet beat to it, and I was trying to find the song.
I could Chance music and all that stuff.
Yeah, because like I saw.
But you don't listen to Chance by chance, so.
No, just kidding. I listen to whatever sounds good.
What about? Have you seen ATL?
No. Atlanta as in ATL is in the movie,
no,
or ATL is in the show Atlanta?
The show, Childish Gambino show.
Yeah, I've seen that. Okay. I like that's really funny. I know season 2 is coming out sometime this year. I saw a promo.
Hey, real quick, what's your take on Childish Gambino? Like,
I like him. I listen to him.
Movies, TV, writing. Like he does it all.
He does it all. Yeah. So because I didn't know that he went by Childish Gambino. Yeah. I knew him as
Donald Glover.
Yeah, because I saw him in Community because I watched it with my ex. So I was like, we were watching an episode. And it was super funny because it was like a Google Play ad, and he was in it. It was like, was that him? I was like, I think it was, because we didn't know that he did music, and then it was another ad. It was like, that was definitely him. So that's when I started to look him up, because we never watched Community. I didn't even know who he was until I watched that, and then it was like, oh, okay. So I watched that, and I think before I watched Community, I'd seen like one stand-up of his that was pretty funny. It was him talking about his little brother like taking a dump in Home Depot. That was a really funny story. But it was like, okay, and then I listened to his music, and I like his music. I thought it was pretty good. And then that's why he left Community, because it was like, all right, well, I'm done acting. And he was like, well, now I want to go to music. And he did that, and then he went back to acting and also writing, because he made Atlanta.
He about to be huge in producing shows. Mm-hmm. Like him, I give it up to Childish Gambino. That dude's about to be like, I think at some point, like I said, stamp my words again, but he gonna be like the male Oprah. He gonna be like a millionaire or something like that. He gonna be like Byron Allen or somebody. Charlemagne. I'm looking at people behind, like, now that I review these movies, I don't just review them and say, hey, this is what I thought, guys. Like, share, and subscribe. You know what I'm saying? I'm really getting on it. Like, who directed this motherfucker? Who fucking produced it? Who was the assistant director on that bitch getting the Skittles for everybody? But
the PA.
Yeah, Charlemagne the God, who was on the Breakfast Club, he produced a lot. They going to him for a lot of shows and production and stuff. So getting to producing, black folks, that's exactly what I was talking about either on this podcast or the last podcast, where just fucking do it all. You realize that we in a era that is about to have so many different streaming services, and they thirsty like vampires for content. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? All you got to be is a motherfucker making content. This motherfucker's on. Have you ever heard of? And we about to get up out of here. I know it's late, but you heard of Musically?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. When did you hear about Musically, man? I feel old. I just heard about that shit a few weeks ago.
I feel like I've only heard about it like in passing. Like I don't really know anything about it.
Musically is a new social media platform that's basically like a new. It's basically like a new Instagram, Snapchat, but just with music and video. So the same way people were singing songs on Instagram, this is for. Okay. So just singing, it's basically a little kid platform, just singing other people's songs. Okay. But these motherfuckers is legit blowing up off the shit.
That makes sense. Like anything can always work like that. It's just like Vine. Like if that is your specific thing, you can make that 6-second niche work, or you already sing. There you go. If something's specifically made for that sort of style that you're good at,
the funny rap videos, that shit, that's blowing up on there.
It'll be automatic,
Yeah, so it's real interesting. A lot of stuff. Just bring it up there, so some of y'all can get on and be millionaires and contribute to this podcast. That's basically why I'm doing this. But musically, that was a little touch. To rap. In general, what would you rate Netflix? Now we've got two different perspectives. You've been on Netflix even when they had like the shit, back when you almost sacrificed school for TV shows.
I was felon anyway.
That's the spirit.
I made it out. Man, that was war. That's what that was.
Hey, but So yeah,
terrible time.
You an OG. You what I like to call it Netflix OG. You the type. You the audience that they making new shit for. The old shit is for me, the new Netflix user that's like, oh my god, look at all these movies. It's such a thing. Right. So what's your overall grade? Because like I said, I done seen 3 movies and these motherfuckers is over 3. But I hate to put my perspective on it. Like I said, I see a lot of older movies I see on there like, oh, they got that, that's good. But as far as like, you done seen TV shows, you done seen movies, you know about the originals, you know about the just got on there, you know what just got taken off. What is your overall view right now what Netflix is right now? Wrap it up.
I would say Netflix is...
Dave Chappelle, wrap it up. Wrap
it up, Bob. Wrap it up, B. Well, that's I haven't thought of that in a long time.
He was fucking to wrap it up. Don't you hear the music? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Overall, I would say Netflix is in a really good position to grow. They've already been growing. You know, we talked about the movies. They have original movies, original shows. They're doing, you know, they branched into anime in the past 2 years, past 2 or 3 years, the Netflix original anime.
Did they just get into anime in the last 2 years?
Just original anime? Like original anime. Okay. So, you know, they branch out to everything, all the billions of different genres and all that stuff. There's like, so I don't know how many articles I've seen where it's like, these are secret genres that you can look up on Netflix, so you can find like even more, you know, niche stuff.
All right.
So
that's interesting.
I would say they're definitely doing a good job. They're just learning, you know, like we talked about with movies where it can be hit or miss with their originals. So they need to figure out that balance of, you know, that corporate control versus the freedom that you give to just whoever, whatever.
Right.
So they got to
more of a curating type of thing.
Yeah.
Don't just put anything out.
Yeah, they got to figure out that balance.
I got to watch the shit.
Yeah, rather than just letting it go. So I think they're definitely...
That's a good idea now, because this is like, I feel like they just want to have as much movies on the platform. So they trying to keep themselves from dying. Let's just put as much shit out. People can't say we don't got a lot of shit. Yeah. I feel like, especially in this era where it's definitely quantity over quality. Definitely. But go ahead.
Well, yeah, you know, with that, I would say they're definitely in a great position for that, because not only do they have quantity, they do have quality. Specifically with their shows, I would say more than their original movies, but they do still have it. You know, even if the movies come out and they kind of suck, they still have a bunch of shows where it's just like, this show is great. Sense8, I would think, is a great example. That got canceled because they were spending too much money, but they were like, all right, a ton of people love this. Let's just do a 2-hour finale. Like, that's what they did for the fans of that show, and it only had 2 seasons, but so many people loved it, and it was like, well, it's just expensive, but we'll at least support it. Okay. We'll at least find a way to wrap it up and support it for people.
Which is good, because that lets you know that that's a platform who do listen to the fans.
Yeah,
even if
they care enough to...
You know, a YouTube or anybody else, I ain't gonna pick up YouTube, but anybody else, any other TV platform might just be like, this show not making money, cut it. You know what I'm saying?
The only channel that ever, I think, actually did that was CW. Okay. They had a show that was called Frequency that got canceled at the end of its first season, and they made like it was like a 3 or 5 minute epilogue, and it was just went up on the CW website, and I was like, that's more than anyone would ever give on any sort of network channel. And I was like, I appreciate that, even though it was like, you know, a 5-minute thing to just wrap up the story. And it was the perfect kind of story to do it. Fortunately, it was easy to just do 5 minutes. Okay. But it was like, most people wouldn't bother doing that. They wouldn't be like, sure, go ahead and use this set and get the actors back and stuff. Like, the actors would probably do it, but the network itself, you know, using the money.
We already canceled that shit. So.
Yeah, but they took the time, you know, however much it spent to just do like a 3 to 5 minute deal. They did it. And it was like, companies don't even bother doing that. You know, with Netflix doing stuff like that, you know, it shows they'll put that effort into their own stuff. Yeah. If people care about it, if it's like, we can't afford to keep going, we'll at least find a way to support you guys and let you know, it's an early conclusion, sorry, but you got one. Like legitimate, like 2-hour movie type of ending. Yeah.
And that's why I think that's why Netflix is winning, because they wanted to companies, one of the only companies, one of the major platforms who actually listen to their audience. You know, like I said, in this position where they like, look, the people like it, we seeing engagement, and that's what most new companies, because since these streaming services are technically tech companies, they realizing like, we got to look at these analytics. If motherfuckers like it, give them more of that. If they don't, that. If we mess up, do this. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so it is more consumer based, where it's like, it's not like old TV, old Hollywood, where you just get what you get. Hopefully you get a bunch of good movies, or at least 1 or 2 that you like. It's like, no, you can almost really dictate the content, you know, on the shit, basically, if you got a big enough voice as that audience for something. So, you know, I think it's a good idea for companies to do that. I give corporations their props. New corporations, or the old ones, they can suck a dick. Yeah. But, you know, always look out for your audience. Y'all are our audience, and we always looking out for y'all. So don't forget to return the favor from all this great content, similar to a Netflix or Hulu. Let me stop bullshitting. We ain't got shit close to that shit. Thanks all two of y'all for listening. Don't forget to follow me and Arcus Beats on Instagram, on Twitter, and on Snapchat.
I am at Invisiblekatana on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We, of course, are at A Few Nobodies Podcast at gmail.com, and we are at A Few Nobodies on both Twitter and Instagram, so check us out there. You know, shoot us some messages, shoot us some links, whatever. Current events, random topics. It could be old news, current news, what we think about, whatever random topic you want to hear us talk about. Just let us know.
Peace.